Hi, and thanks for purchasing Beautify panel version number 2. In this video, I will explain you all the function of panel in an easy way. In Retouch section, you will find all function for face and skin retouching. On lighting, all you need to edit lights and dodge and burn techniques. There is also a virtual makeup section. In the mood section, we found 3 different kinds of high-quality preset to edit image as we like it. In atmosphere section, we can manipulate colors, as for example changing in infrared style, as well as replicate light shades or simulate the depth of field of different type of lenses. In extra section, we found function as noise reduction, sharpening and some other contrast parameters. In the last section instead, we can create all masks we need for the editing with just a click, tonal as well as lights mask. Bottom right, we can change language: Italian, English, French, Spanish or Deutsch. For this video, we choose English. Before start processing, set the project to 16-bit. Start with the first function, frequency separation, and set blur to totally erase the skin texture. When press OK, automatically a group with a black mask is made. This mask hides the whole change we done, so to make it visible we will set a white brush and draw where we want. We can check before and after, simply hide the group, just to be sure our editing is not too much. Otherwise, we can change the opacity. So we can move to the second function. To be easy to use, first of all, we will invert our mask change color from black to white. Press Ctrl+A on Windows or Command+A on Echoes, or move to Property and press the Invert button. Move to low frequency level, activate the selection tool, draw the contours of the model's face, press the selection mask button and apply a fade of about 20 pixels. Pressing Ctrl or Command J, a new level with our selection is made. Select them and holding Alt or Option button, then move between the two levels, you will relate him to the level below. Now choose a blur radius that's enough to mix the shade of skin colors of our model. When it's done, we can invert again our group mask from white to black. And, as before, with a white brush, paint the areas of interest to us. As for the previous function, we can set opacity to change the percentage of the effect applied to our image. Now delete all levels and take a look to the plastic skin function. As before, with a white brush we can check the effect we have. Unlike the previous one, this feature is much more powerful, so if the result is too much plastic, we can change the opacity of the group. Grain function is ideal to recreate an artificial texture to the skin. As always, now you know, with a white brush we can apply our change where need. Let's try now skin texture option. With this function you can even natural texture of our model's face. Skin texture number 2 is a much powerful version of the previous one. Select Skin instead allows with his algorithm to create a selection focused on complexion. On selection we can apply all kind of editing, as for example a curve. And now I want to show you a trick. You can move the adjustment layer inside a group, apply a mask and with a white brush apply the changes where you want. The sharpen eyes is made to increase the sharpness in this specific area. Inside the group you will find 3 different layers. One for sharpness, one for brightness, and bar ideal to enhance the outline of the iris. As always, if you think the result is too much, you can change opacity. Use Widen Eyes option to enhance the white color of the sclera. Skin blur instead is ideal to make our model's skin smoother. Again, version number 2 is the same, but with some different parameters. White skin and its variant are ideal to lighten the complexion. The Factor Remover and Skin Texture automatically attenuates color differences, smoothing skin texture. Choose a blur radius that makes skin shades flatten. And in the next screen, we decide how much to increase the texture. With modifier function, we can correct areas where the light is too much. Redness remover is useful to correct color differences of the skin, as for example some areas a bit red. As always, we have variant number 2 with some different parameters. Emphasize the effects is ideal to emphasize details like freckles. As always, there is a variant number 2 that in this case have much contrast. And now it's time for another trick. Drag the group inside another group and apply a dark mask to identify the freckless area to modify, being more precise, leaving the surrounding skin unchanged. Applying, you can note that editing is much more selective and precise. And of course, we have also attenuates freckless function. We don't try to remove, but simply try to make chromatic differences between freckless and skin more uniform. As always, we can create a subgroup and apply a mask. Now, deselect the layer with our modification, select group 1 and apply a light mask. Then, we reactivate the group with our modification. Now you can note a much more selective and precise editing. Okay, now we can close all modification and move back to the original image. Lip extrude, it's useful to emphasize lips. Teeth whitening is a function made to emphasize the white of the teeth. As always, with a white brush, you can modify the area you want. This was the dedicated section to the skin retouching. Now we talk of lighting. Dodge burn is a technique used to lighten the light areas and darken the shadow areas. And in this section we have different types. The first dodge and burn sample the color of the ambient light, so we can apply the same light color where we want. Move to the reference layer and with a white brush, draw lines to select the interesting areas. For dodge, select light areas. For burn, the shadow areas. For dodge eye, select the iris of our model. After our selection are done, only for dodge and burn level, increase the fader of the mask in the properties area until the result satisfies our eyes. Now invert the group mask from white to black and with a white brush apply the dodge and burn effect, selecting the areas we want. Variant number 2 is a traditional dodge and burn. With a white brush we can lighten the light areas and with the black one we can darken the shadows. Maybe not to be too aggressive, we can reduce the flow and opacity of the brush. Bleach is an automatic variant of the traditional dodge and burn that calculates all lights and shadow areas. Of course, as always, we can drag the layer inside a group and making a mask on the group we can choose the area where apply the effect. Autotone and Color Auto are two very easy functions that automatically fix the tone and color of our image. The white balance function automatically found the color of ambient light of our image. When curves windows automatically open, with the second dropper select any point of our image. We can change the intensity of the result with the opacity. Glow function apply a soft glow to the skin of our model. The curve function is ideal to boost the contrast of our image. When we are enough satisfied by the result, we can invert the mask and apply the effect where we want. And now move to the creative section. Paying attention to the direction of the light in your picture, you can apply some flares. These three effects are different for light intensity and flare presence. Anyway, you can edit each layer as you want. For example, you can change opacity or make a free transformation to decide what direction is the best for your scene. With this last function, you can apply some different lenses flare, decide intensity and moving where you want in your image. And now it's time for makeup. In this section, we can emphasize or create a virtual makeup for our model, with few steps. Start with eyelashes. With Ease algorithm, this function allows us to emphasize the eyelashes and eyebrows of our model. So, as always, white brush and draw the area. The eyeshadows function allows us to apply an eyeshadow of the same color used in the real makeup of the model, but of course we can decide and change color as we want. To being much more precise and have a more natural result, we can apply dark mask on our layer. If we need, with a black brush, we can clean our selection on the mask. The eyeliner function is useful to emphasize the outline of the eyes, both in the dark and light area. In lighten layers, we use a white brush. In this example, a 30 or 40% of smoothing is a good choice. In draw layer, instead, we use a black brush. At the end, we can change the opacity of the entire groups for a best result. Mascara function is useful to create or emphasize the original. An editable mask is automatically made, so you can be extremely precise with your editing. When the mask is done, we apply our mascara with the black brush. The third function, with its 3 variants, make the light smoother on the skin. As always, select layer, drag on a new group, mask and use a brush to apply where you want. You can find also several makeup brushes, just in case you wanna be a little bit creative. Lipstick button create 5 different adjustment layers. Lower lip contour, lower lips, reflexes of the lower lip, the upper lip, and reflexes of the upper lip. First of all, select lower lip layer and with a white brush select the area where we want work. As you notice, we already start to color the lips, but actually it's just a reference for later. Right-click on this layer and select blending option. On the underlying layer, hold Alt or Option and click to separate markers. To emphasize natural reflection, we focus more on the right markers. Now we do the same for the reflexes of lower lip. This time we focus more on the left markers, having a better result. And now it's time for the lip contour. On this layer, modify opacity is always a good idea. And now we can repeat the same process for the upper side of the lips. If you are not extremely precise, don't worry, you can always fix with a black brush. Now we move to the reflexes on upper lip. If you need, you can use the lower lip edge layer for a fine-tune of the upper lip contour. Clean the edge with the black brush and with the white brush redefine it. Let's check on each layer if we need to adjust something, then move to the next step. When our lipstick is applied, we can change color, saturation and brightness. Click on Adjustment layer and apply any kind of hue change. Then move to the mask and select the lips drawing with the brush. Be careful to select the entire area where new colors are applied. Now move back to the adjustment layer where we can modify hue, lightness and saturation. And of course, if the final result is too much, we can change the opacity of the lipstick group. And now check the function made to change color of nail polish. Select the color, select one of the layers and start to color our nails. To be more precise, we can activate a white mask and with a black brush fix the edges. Now click on the adjustment layer and select the hue we want. Invert the mask on adjustment layer and with a white brush apply the change in the area we want. And of course, change opacity of the entire group if you need. As I told you at the beginning of this video, we have 4 sessions more: Mood, Atmosphere, Extra and Light and Tonality masks. On Mood section, you found 3 categories with a lot of different effects. Apply it is super easy. One click and automatically layers are made. You can change the opacity to change the percentage of the effect. On light color section, we can be more precise using masks and select the area we want to change. And of course, it's the same for the last category called filters. On Atmosphere, we found color change section useful to automatically change colors. For example, move from green to red, ideal to simulate an autumn mood or an infrared picture. on shades, we can simulate some specific light situation, as for example a sunset. In this section instead, we can select different bokeh, changing the type of lenses. To apply, invert the mask and with a white brush, select the specific area you want to blur. And of course, it's the same process for all kind of bokeh we have. In this area, we found specific option for noise reduction. Of course, using mask you can apply in a specific area you need. And found also specific option of contrast and sharpness made for portraits. Sharpen automatically create a mask, increasing the sharpness of some portion, as hair for example, preserving automatically others like the softness of the skin. High sharpness can be applied to any part of our image. Contrast function is ideal to increase contrast in a specific area of the image, as lips or eyes, for example. Same things for smart contrast. With high-pass contrast, we can, of course, increase contrast, but also the sharpen of some specific portion we select. With these three functions, we can specifically increase contrast on highlights, shadows and midtones. With Lab Dark, we can add sharpen on luminance channel only. In the mask session, we can choose between luminosity or tonality masks. Click one of the levels to preview the final result, and when you decide, click to apply. In the lower section, we found a taskbar with some shortcut we already used during the editing. We can activate the quick selection, create or invert a mask, select clone stamp or the healing brush, choose between black or white brushes, apply a gradient, select eyedropper, activate levels, and curves. Okay, this is the hand. So now I want to show you the entire process. Start to the end of my typical portrait editing. Hope you like it. Of course, I use all functions you saw in this video, so have a good time and enjoy the panel. Thanks for your purchase and see you soon. Ciao!